Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mr. G's Weather Channel. My name is Mr. G. I am your meteorologist. Here we are about in the midday hour here in your Monday morning. So, a new work week. So, I hope that everyone is having a great start to your week. And we're going to talk about your weather forecast today to let you know what to expect as we continue with that wonderful weather on the east. And we have our storm that's moving across the plains and our storm that's in the Pacific Northwest and affecting the northern Rockies right now. So we're seeing heavy snow in the mountains across Idaho and Montana and eastern Washington and Oregon. So that storm is now currently moving across the northern plains. And then we have our Colorado low that was moving across the southern Rockies right now, and it's moving currently ejecting out into the plains. So we're seeing those showers and thunderstorms moving out into Kansas and Oklahoma. So it's currently bringing severe weather to the central and southern plains. So, and we can see that right now. And then we have Tropical Storm Oscar still churning across the Caribbean after just making landfall in Cuba, but now it's going to hit back out into the Atlantic and make its way toward the Northeast. So we saw Hurricane Oscar make a glancing blow there across eastern Cuba. So let's take our closer look at the features making weather across America today. Okay, so now we are zooming in on the activity in the Pacific Northwest, where we have our cold front moving across the Northwest, as well as that moisture from the atmospheric river. So we're still seeing some showers here along the northwest coast of Washington. So Puget Sound right here, and we're seeing showers to the south of Seattle. Seattle is right about there. So we're seeing showers down here towards Tacoma and down the coastline. So down the I-5 corridor, there are still some showers here along the coast, but the bulk of the precipitation is inland over the Cascades right now. So we're seeing heavy rain showers here across the Cascades, and we're also seeing some of those rain showers here over Idaho and northern Rockies, Idaho and northern Montana. We're seeing those showers today. So heavy rain today continues across northern Idaho and western Montana, and there is the Glacier National Park region right here. So we're seeing those heavy rain and mountain snow across the Big Sky territory of Montana. So let's go further toward the south and west and take a look at that Colorado low that's ejecting out into the plains. So you see this blue line right here. This blue line is a cold front that's currently marching across into the high plains. So we're seeing those showers and thunderstorms in the east here. These are moving across Kansas and Nebraska, Oklahoma down to the south. So we're seeing those showers and thunderstorms. If you see the flashes, that's lightning. So we're also seeing our wraparound moisture around the axis of this low pressure center. So we are seeing a wraparound moisture to the north and west here. So across the states of Colorado and into Kansas, Oklahoma to the south, and we have Nebraska up there. So we are seeing showers and thunderstorms, and I think you can even see the lightning strikes in there. You see those showers and thunderstorms. So we're looking at very heavy rainfall moving across central Kansas. That's going to be bringing some flash flooding. We're going to see the potential for tornadoes as well. So tornadoes is also going to be likely in this region right here is where we see that threat for tornadoes today. So we're going to see severe weather, and we're also going to be seeing excessive rainfall. So hail, tornadoes, damaging winds is going to be all possible today across the plains. So Kansas, Nebraska, down into Oklahoma, we're going to be seeing those showers and thunderstorms today. So looking at the eastern half of the country right now, out ahead of that cold front coming across the plains, we can see high pressure dominates the weather in the northeast the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Southeast, and along the Gulf Coast, and that is minimizing any threats coming off of the Atlantic, tropical, or the Gulf of Mexico, or the Caribbean Sea right now. So this high pressure is effectively working to block any tropical influences from affecting the eastern and southeast Florida and the Gulf Coast right now. So beautiful dry weather conditions, warming conditions, temperatures in the 70s across the Northeast, in the 60s, the Great Lakes, the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic. Florida, we're seeing temperatures maybe in the low to mid 80s, and we're seeing 70s along the Gulf Coast. So beautiful weather across the eastern half of the United States today, and that is going to continue tomorrow as that high pressure will continue to dominate. But maybe we will see some showers start to spread from the mid-Atlantic, so we'll see some of these showers move across the upper Midwest. So affecting Minnesota later in the week. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and those regions might experience some of these rain showers, but we're not going to be looking for a lot of waves, a lot of severe weather, because that severe threat will weaken as we move through time. So now we're going to go to our regular weather maps and take a look at the forecast. And thank you for checking out the current conditions across America with me right now. Okay, so thank you for checking out the current conditions. But now let's take a look at the days ahead with our national weather forecast. And we're going to look at our first map right now. And the first map, we're going to be looking at that cold front as it moves across the plains. And we are seeing those thunderstorms today from North Texas to Oklahoma and then into Kansas. And we are seeing that moisture coming in off of the Gulf of Mexico across this region right here. So we are seeing those severe thunderstorms likely today across New Mexico, eastern parts of North Texas, western Oklahoma, and central Kansas. And here is our severe weather threat today, and we're going to see a slight risk for severe thunderstorms, North Texas, Amarillo, and Lubbock, northern Oklahoma, so maybe northwest of Oklahoma City, Enid, but we will see those severe thunderstorms across Kansas. So Wichita today, we're going to see that risk in Dodge City. We're going to see that threat today for severe thunderstorms, and into parts of Nebraska. So south central Nebraska, we're going to see that threat for a slight risk for severe thunderstorms today. So look for hail and isolated tornadoes, localized damaging winds, and up to 60 miles per hour. And we're going to see that local storm max of those winds potentially hit 75 miles per hour. So in our AccuWeather map, so we're going to say that we have the AccuWeather maps, and it's cost me a lot of money to be able to use these features. So there we go with our severe weather outlook for today. And we are going to be seeing warm weather continue across the upper Midwest, so Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, the northern plains as well, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, across northern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Today we're going to see those temperatures in about 25 degrees above the historical averages right now. So anywhere from 15 to 25 degrees above average, and we are looking for high temperatures in the low 80s across the Twin Cities today. So that warmth will continue for another couple of days here across the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes. And we're going to be seeing warm weather across the Northeast and New England today. So the Northeast, we're also going to be seeing those temperatures across maybe some widespread high temperatures in the 70s and 80s. So 70s and 80s, and mostly dry weather will continue across the Northeast, New England. So Boston, Philadelphia, the nation's capital, Richmond, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, all of those areas, Detroit as well, Chicago, St. Louis, Indianapolis, the Twin Cities, Milwaukee, all of these areas in the Northeast, in the Upper Midwest, in the Great Lakes will enjoy another couple of days of very beautiful weather before any notable changes can come through. And here is a look at mostly dry weather. So after we get through the end of the week here, we're going to see a change in the pattern where it could become noticeably cooler. So fall weather will move in as that front passes from the west to the east, but that's going to bring with it cooler high pressure and cooler weather as we get to the end of the week. So we're going to see mostly still dry conditions, but temperatures will return to the 50s and 60s. So fall-like weather to return to the Northeast and the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley. And here is what former Hurricane Oscar is going to be doing right now. As we see it, made landfall in Cuba this morning, but it's going to do now a tropical storm, and we're going to see it exit Cuba and head out toward the Atlantic. So head off back toward the Northeast. And we're going to see it weaken over time over the next couple of days. It's positioned every 24 hours from now. So 24 hours from now, we're going to be looking at a tropical storm here, head out into the Atlantic towards Bermuda. So it's going to be heading out toward the Northeast before weakening to a tropical cyclone. So there we go as we look at the path of what's the remnants of Hurricane Oscar. And here is the Oscars will recurve that turn to the Northeast now. We have area of low pressure off the East Coast that's going to be making a southerly flow and offshore flow off the U.S. mainland down to the south, but over the mid-Atlantic in the Northeast, we're going to see an onshore flow briefly behind that low. There is Bermuda. There is the track that Oscar is going to take, passing just to the south of Bermuda, but high pressure off the Gulf Coast will also make for an offshore flow that will aid into continuing to block the eastern seaboard for anything coming from the tropics or off the Atlantic and anything coming off of the Gulf of Mexico. So that high pressure will block the eastern areas of the Gulf of Mexico, but make southern Mexico here vulnerable to anything that might develop in this region, in the Bay of Campeche here, or the southern Caribbean Sea. So it will make it possible for something to go across this path, but not likely for anything to develop in that region. So we're not going to worry too much about it right now. Here is those wind gusts that we can expect from Tropical Storm Oscar as it leaves Cuba and heads towards the northern Caribbean Sea and Bermuda. So we're going to see those wind gusts in this region across eastern Cuba around our low pressure, our center of circulation, but we can see those wind gusts hit up to 100 miles per hour. And here is our Oscar impact. So we are going to see high impacts here across eastern Cuba and maybe across the Bahamas and the Virgin Islands. And here is our rainfall forecast for Oscar. Still in the mountains of eastern Cuba, we are going to see some areas pick up as much as 8 to 12 inches, but 4 to 8 inches to the north here. But in these islands out here, we are going to be looking at that potential for 4 inches of rainfall further away from the low pressure center. And is that the end of the forecast? I think that's the end of the forecast. So, yep, that'll do it for today's weather forecast. And I think possibly today, after I eat lunch, I might jump on TikTok or YouTube and do a live video because I haven't done a live in months probably a couple years on TikTok and YouTube, and I think that might help my growth if I would get on here and do more live. So maybe, I'm not promising because it's going to depend on my energy and how I feel after I eat lunch here in just a moment. If I'm going to do, I need to, if I want to really tap into the algorithm and get some growth, you can do a live video this afternoon on TikTok and YouTube. So stay with me, and if we do that, but I have to work on editing and posting these video I just recorded now, and then we'll eat lunch, and then we'll look at to possibly doing a live this afternoon. So until then, have a great day, and thank you for watching me on Mr. G's Weather Channel right here. We're no longer going to be known as Elite Weather, but it is Mr. G's Weather Channel. So thank you for watching, and I will be back maybe later today to do it live for you folks.